Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to society. We're gonna have a great show today. We've got some great ladies. We've got all the good times on a beautiful day. So welcome to the show. Share this if you can, and thanks for joining us. Again, thank you for joining us. We've got a great show. My name is Jesse Faubert. We've got the man Louise. Over in the corner, playing backup, second base here, we've got the man Jeremy. He's back, helping us out. He's going to do a great job today. We've got Richie, the man Richie Kwan back here. He's running our production. Again, any technical errors, you can blame it on that guy. And then over here, we've got the lovely Katie. She's back in the saddle, picking up where Jeremy left off. We've got a great little crew. And what I'm really pumped about is the retailer business owners we've got here today, keeping Kamloops super cool. And that's it, right? Keeping Kamloops hip. I'm really thankful for these lovely ladies because they're bringing something to Kamloops that we don't have. Maybe you guys could introduce yourselves so I don't butcher it and ruin the rest of your business card.
Well, I'm Brianne Shepard. I'm a retailer business owner.
There you go. Yep.
Which is my new official title. I'm co-owner of a store called Far and Wide on 4th Avenue.
Oh.
I'm Emily Sedgwick. I own Crooked Crown, and I am just around the corner from Far and Wide, which is super cool. And so we're just right across the street from the Plaza Hotel.
So, well, thank you for being on the show today, ladies. Appreciate this.
It's all downtown business situation that we have going on right now.
Here we are.
Which is really cool.
What do you got for us, Louise? First, I should say, for all of you joining us today, if you tuned in last Thursday, you know we've got a giveaway to some good old-fashioned Monty Creek Hands Up White. We're going to be giving this away at the end of the episode. It's not you can still get in the mix if you comment, if you tag someone in the comments. You will be in the mix. Jeremy will add you to the hat of the draw, and we're going to give that away at the end of the evening. Shout out to my company, Common Sound, for funding the alcohol. The party continues.
I'm sorry. How many companies do you have?
Got a couple. I got a couple. Couple functionals.
Yeah, that act in the regular base.
Yep.
There's other ones that are more low-key, too.
Yes. It's for another conversation today.
Yeah, exactly. Today, we're all about you. Yeah. Well, we want to start with where your business started. How does everything start for both of you?
Oh, well, 34 years ago, my parents got together and created this. And from then, no, seriously, my business partner, Callie, and I started about 5 years ago, and we actually started with a workshop business. So I'm from Vancouver, my family's all down there, and I noticed my sister and my friends down there were always going to things like a flower arranging class, or they were going on wine tours and doing things, and it felt like a lot of the things in Kamloops revolved around going out to eat or to drink, which is lovely, and I definitely appreciate those establishments, but it gets expensive and limiting sometimes, and sometimes you just want to do something crafty. So we got together actually over Instagram. We'd gone to high school together, but weren't necessarily friends with each other. She was good friends with my sister. Started doing the workshops after one Instagram meeting. I messaged her the next time and told her that I'd sublet us a space out in Dallas. So kind of forced her into it. She's the planner of our duo, and she keeps us on track for sure. We did the workshops for about 2 years. They went really well. We did everything from like shibori dyeing, which is like using an indigo dye, to flower arranging, which was the
What's shibori?
original. Shibori is like a traditional indigo dye. So if you ever see like the dark blue, almost like tie dye.
Okay.
So it's just the art of like tying the fabric together and the different designs that you get. It's really cool. So we did things like that, and it was going really well. And eventually, neither of us were happy with our other employment, and it just
Right.
seemed
Yeah.
like a good time to
Nice.
jump into something else. So we opened up Far and Wide.
Sweet.
It was
Sweet.
pretty good.
Yeah.
So we opened the doors in June 2 years ago. And we had a pretty good community from Makeshift, so the support was there
Yeah.
from the beginning, which is
Mhm.
lovely. And it's always been community driven. So we've got a book club that meets in there. We've got a plant club starting. We have
You've
a
got a
lot
what?
of
What club starting?
plant club.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
See, I haven't heard that
That's
one before.
amazing.
That's cool.
It's going to be pretty good. There's so many people in town who are interested in plants. It's a huge thing right now, especially since quarantine started. Everyone's obsessed with plants because they've been stuck in their
Yes.
houses for months,
Right.
and they want to make it feel more like a home. So we have a lot of things like that. We have a lot of local makers in the stop because they're people that we worked with on the workshops before. So Elise
Right.
Kirsten Designs is in the shop, and she taught our jewelry making workshop. And
Cool.
so yeah, just kind of grew from there.
Radical.
Yeah. Nice.
So,
Emily?
Emily, what do you got for us?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I grew up, my mom was a retail manager, and she actually started with jewelry stores. So she opened up stores in Revelstoke, Vernon, Kelowna, and then when I was 5, she went back to work and opened up 2 retail spaces, one in Revelstoke and then one at a tourist site just west of Revelstoke called The Last Spike. So I would go to work with her from the time I was 5, and then she started paying me probably when I was 13 or 14. And I
Good
loved
old-fashioned
retail.
child labor, man. I'll
Oh,
tell
yeah.
you.
It was more allowed.
Oh yeah, there was so much for me to do at 5. And so yeah, I loved retail. I always went to work with my mom, and I got to like fold t-shirts that probably had to be refolded and stamp things and price things. And then when I moved to Kamloops, I started working at Roots and then worked for Andres. And then I thought I needed an adult job. So I started working for the provincial government, and I was like, okay, this is great. I like it. Weekends off, pension. And after I had my daughter, I realized that
It's fun until it's not.
exactly. I was like, oh, okay, I have no free time to do what I love to do or be with the people I want to be with. So I quit my job with no job. And when they opened up Lululemon here, I was like, okay, I'll just go do that. It'll be something fun to do for a little bit till I figure out like what I want to do. And then shortly after that, I realized that I just love retail and I wanted to do it forever. So my husband was super supportive and was like, why don't you finally open your own store? My mom and I had been talking about it for years. We would go places and be like, oh, if we had a store, this is what it would look like, or we'd want to bring this in, or we would do this.
Right.
And so about 1.5 to 2 years ago, we really started doing like our business concept, playing with it. And then I would talk myself out of it and go, no, like I can't do that. It's a lot of work, or how am I ever going to take off for a couple weeks? And then finally we just had the push for it in January, which may have been terrible timing. Yeah, I signed my lease for March 1st. So,
Nice.
but yeah, so we got into it then and got to open our store and start securing our suppliers. And we had our lease and yeah, get everything going.
Cool.
I'm a big fan of both your business. I stumbled upon them by luck. I want to say like people that brought them into my life, which is funny, and it's just like because
How do you stumble into them?
well,
What do you mean?
the first ones they
Like literally stumble?
almost. No, I feel like the first one was when I met you. It was through Stacy. Like Stacy Curlo was here at the studio, and she was like, "Hey, you gotta be there," because I wanted to bring crafts from Mexico, and she was like, "Oh, we gotta go. You gotta look at this." I was like, "Okay." And then she brought me to your store and talked to you, and you were like, "Yeah, come in." And then I met Emily here at the studio on it was like a thank you party that we did for our summer league from last year, and same thing. It was just one of those things I would not normally just decide to walk around downtown Kamloops to go to a store. I didn't used to be like that.
Like, what are you fucking saying this stuff for, man? It's embarrassing, dude.
I
You're
didn't
just gonna insult us right to our faces.
No. It's because I just didn't know about these kind of stores. Like, it's just
You didn't know these things
I
existed.
didn't know these things existed. I was more of like, you go to the mall, because in Mexico that's how it is. You go to a mall, you walk into a mall, and there's the stores. Like, you're not used to. And then when I do, I now find myself walking around downtown.
That's a good cover. Put it on your Mexican heritage over
every
here.
time.
Yeah.
It's a great cover. No, but it's just something that I appreciate, because like it's really different. I think my first store about clothing was here in Kamloops too, down the street, and I was like, okay, nice. You don't have to go to just a mall or just
True story.
True story.
Now Louise can't walk by my store without me waving him down.
I always I know I'm always looking.
I look, I'm like, hey.
In my way to my morning coffee every day.
I saw you yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, Natalie was there. She's like, I just saw Louise outside. I'm like, oh yeah, I waved him down already.
Yeah. Oh, but yeah.
That's how you got in the mix.
That's how we got in the mix. Yeah.
Cool. So I'm not going to get into my favorites quite yet, but I would love to know what your favorite things are that you carry in your stores, respectively.
Oh man, favorite product.
Yeah.
That's a tough question.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't.
feel like when people ask me that, I'm like, they're all my favorites. Otherwise, I wouldn't have brought them in.
I get that.
Yeah.
What's I guess yeah. That's poorly.
Staying away from that
yeah.
question too. No. What is like your best sellers, or what are the things that people do also end up like asking, or that you because I know with you, what I take people to your store mostly, a lot of them is just like, well, I want like the cute plants, and I know your stories.
Cute plants are hip. There.
Yeah.
People dig the cute plants.
People dig the cute plants, and it's funny because we brought the plants in originally for like more of decoration in this store. It wasn't like gonna be a big part of the store, but it's definitely turned into that. One of the working titles for the store was just called Things We Love, because it's sort of a collection just of things that we love, which is nice. And the things that sell the best are usually the things that Callie and I like the most, which is both rewarding and heartbreaking when you're like, oh, I should have bought that for myself, and now it's gone and I'll never get it back. We focus on a lot of small Canadian makers and a lot of like local artists, and so I think the people that I have a personal relationship with, their things become my favorite because I know the story behind them. So Lily Turner's a potter in the store, and she made us these mugs for our first birthday last year that we like commissioned from her. So they have a little moon on them, and they represent like a year of hard work. And I drink my coffee in it every morning, and it's special because it has a story, and it's different than one of my 17 mugs that I've picked up at Starbucks over the years that I'm always like, that one's not perfect. That one's not perfect, but like this mug, it's perfect. So
cool.
Yeah.
See, that's what I was looking for right there. That's beautiful.
I could keep going.
That's nice.
I've got these rings that I got from Zaleska, and I wear them every day. But yeah. No. What about you?
We have, one of them is our cam hats, and it's just because they're nowhere else. I was just telling Jeremy about them earlier, that the guy who created CDN and designs everything, he kind of did them as a surprise for me in February. He had sent them to me and was like, what do you think about these hats? And I'd been buying his hats since pretty much he opened. So that was really cool. And he doesn't have them on his site, which is really neat. So those feel like special and exclusive. We also have these baskets that they're really great market baskets, and they come, this lady, she calls herself Big Blue Mama. She brings them in from Ghana, and she pays makers fair wages. And I'm like regretfully almost saying,
what's a maker's fair wage?
I'm not sure what would be like the going rate in Ghana, but like the baskets are like the small ones start at $33 and then they go up to about $89. But I don't know what like the wages would be, but like she goes over there and she has like a relationship with like an area there, and they're
Cool.
like beautifully made. And my mom stumbled upon them because they're really big in like the knitting and quilting community. So I find like the older, like 60-year-old ladies, some of them come in and they're like, "Oh yeah, I have a Big Blue Mama basket." I'm like, "Oh, that's so cool.
Nice.
Thanks, Mom."
Nice.
But they're so popular and people like wait for them to come in. We also like our best sellers are Sugarfina gummy bears, which is so crazy. I know, gummy bears. And I find like our best sellers are the ones that, and I hope my husband's watching, he,
I hope so
anything
too.
where he's like, "What is this? Like, you brought in gummy bears for the store? Like, why did you do that?" And then it like sells right away and it's the best seller. And then we have a local maker in town, Katie Tucker. She's the Hazel Collection. She makes these beautiful signs with her husband. And he saw one and he was like, "This one says, 'I hope you like dog hair.' Who's going to buy that?" And it, again, was the first one that sold out of the signs and one of the best sellers. So, yes, he now jokes that anything that he doesn't like, I should bring into the
Nice.
store because it will
Nice.
probably be the best seller.
Nice.
It's like the litmus test.
It's nice 'cause I'm pretty sure you probably see that it's the unexpected ones that are the ones that end up also turning really well.
Well, I think
It's
that's because if it's not pop culture, if it's not like
Yeah.
super just popular, like people don't necessarily resonate with what you would think, you know, what is the top 40. Like people resonate with more real in a lot of ways.
Kamloops is also nice because they're a little bit behind some of the bigger
Nice.
cities, so you have
Nice.
time to work in a trend because
Nice.
it takes a while to get here,
Nice.
which can be frustrating as like a consumer, but as a retailer, you've got a little more leeway on when things come in, which is good.
I appreciate that. Oh, Katie's got a word. Hey, Katie.
Hey.
Katie, what do you got? Thanks for coming in.
Okay.
Please don't let it
so
be my mom
I asked
commenting.
I asked Facebook a question and I said, "What's your fave local store?" Samantha Jane said Jardines. Tony said Hello Toast, but R.I.P. Frenchies.
Yeah.
So food is definitely important locally. Brianna and I just went to Mitz's kitchen and stuffed our faces. And then Anna said it's too hard to pick, especially with two such amazing options being represented on the show right now.
Nice.
Also, I put out a poll about your plant club, and 80% of the 5 votes, that's 4, say they want to join, and then 1 said no.
Oh,
You know,
They're
plants are
probably
forever.
not from town.
that's
No.
probably
It might be your husband,
Oh, hello.
only because he
Well, this
sounds
is-
not interested in plants. But maybe we'll change his mind by the end of this.
Okay, wait, I want to clarify. You mean Bree's husband?
Oh,
or
was
my
Lance
husband.
not into plants either?
Oh, my husband. Oh, my husband kind of likes plants. But are you thinking because he's not cool?
No, I don't know your husband. So I didn't say that. You just said about how there's certain things in the store that that he doesn't think he's gonna like, and then they turn out to be great. So maybe if he doesn't like plants now,
plants. Yeah.
he'll like plants after. And
Fair.
Tony said they're plant haters, but
But I feel like coming from a person that has in the past in the studio killed a lot of plants,
Yes.
you know, sometimes you're like, you know what, these plants deserve a better home, and my home's not the one for them.
we do have an internal list of people who I hesitate to sell plants
Yes.
to
Oh my God,
on
this is-
occasion because they've killed so many.
Right.
But also sometimes that's how you learn. Better a plant than a pet or
Yeah.
a
Yes.
100%.
or a
Yeah.
child.
Child.
I still
Yeah.
feel so terrible when like I'll buy the easiest plant, like a succulent, and
Succulents are
do
not easy.
everything
That's
they
not
say
true.
to do.
No, succulents are not easy, and I stand by that. They're
that right?
highlight, they're finicky.
Yeah.
Kamloops is
Okay.
like
yeah.
the winter light here is not good. I treat mine as perennials. I buy them in the spring. If they die in the fall, good for me. They lasted for a season. But don't beat yourself
Okay.
up about a succulent.
That's good because I killed my sisters. The one she bought and then she went home for like a month and then 2 weeks in it was dead. I don't know if it was too much water or it was I don't know. I was just like,
That's
yeah, I'm
cute.
not a plant person.
So there
Combination.
you go. You know that whoever said no, I feel you.
But I haven't been a plant person over the years, but I find that when I go in there, like you ask me, like, where is it going? How much light is it gonna get? Like, what's like all these things? And I've kept them all alive so far.
That's good. We want them to go to good homes. We don't want to set people up for failure.
Keeps them coming back from our plants, though. It's good for business.
It It is. They're lovely. We like having
We
them.
also got a question from Krista. She's really curious about how both of you, the story behind the store names. How did you guys name your stores? They're super unique and creative.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah. It's a good question.
From far and wide, oh Canada.
Shut up.
We stand. No, it's literally from that. We wanted things that represented Canada from coast to coast to coast, and
Cool.
things from far and wide. And we knew we were going to have a strong local focus with our local makers, but we didn't want to just limit ourselves to that, because sometimes when you want like enamelware or something, you can't find it made in town. So we wanted people to know that we were collecting things from far and wide, but also have that Canadian vibe. So
Like that. Cool. I wasn't
That's
expecting
amazing.
that
That
at
was,
all.
yeah.
I don't know. The other like working title we had was subject to change, because we
Nice.
wanted it to also have that feeling where like you got to come in often, you got to check things out regularly, because
that.
things are subject to change.
And all the things we love.
Yeah.
And all
Oh,
the
things we love.
Yeah.
That one didn't get a logo made for it though. Apparently it's a store in New York.
That actually reminds me of a production company that their production name is called Working Title. Like that is
Yeah.
that, and I've always
Still
appreciated that. It opens you up to
I love
like
it.
any kind of opportunity.
Yeah.
But so do both of your names. It's not like you guys have pigeonholed yourselves in
Yeah.
any shape or way. How about you, Emily? Crooked Crown.
Yeah. My husband and I were sitting at the kitchen table, and I come up with a few names that everyone who I'd asked if they liked it, they're like, that doesn't sound like you, or that's terrible, or I don't know what I would buy there. And I really liked Lost and Found, and everyone kept telling me that it sounded like a thrift store, or maybe like really religious.
Mm.
So I scrapped that.
How, yeah, what's the
How
religion?
religious.
Because like you were lost and then you were found.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I think we hang out with different crowds, probably.
I lost my phone. Oh, I found it.
I do that often. And so Lost and Found got scrapped because it was not a thrift store and it was not religious. So yeah, we were sitting at the kitchen table and we have these Sid Dickens tiles. He's a artist out of Vancouver. He actually grew up in Prince Rupert, and there are these tiles and they're hand painted, and each one has a little meaning and the saying on the back. And we got our first one as a wedding gift and keep collecting them when we get them for when we buy houses. I shed so much. When we buy houses. When we bought our house.
When you buy houses.
Yeah.
houses.
Okay.
And when my daughter was born, like we used it for like our like gender reveal. And so a lot of them have crowns on them. So I kept looking at the crowns and up at the tiles like for inspiration. And there was a quote that kept coming around that I would see on like Facebook or Instagram or on notebooks that said, fix another woman's crown without telling the world that it's crooked. And I love that idea of like empowering other women and lifting each other up and being there to support them. And then like as a caveat to that, or to go with it, I also believe that like it is okay to have a crooked crown. Like I like don't want to be perfect. I don't expect anyone to be perfect. I don't expect perfection from my daughter. And so I just felt that Crooked Crown was the perfect name for the store. So then I put it out to the panel and they all liked it better than Lost and Found, or I really liked Ace of Spades too, which is like the highest card in the deck of cards. It's
Yeah.
the most
Yeah.
powerful
Nice.
one.
No doubt.
And then also a song that I never had heard of before. So there's that.
You guys?
That's where my thought process went to.
Went right to the
right,
song?
right to Motorhead. Yeah.
I know, yeah. I just listen to a lot of country music.
Yeah, it might shock a few people if they're not Motorhead fans.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, clearly, that's why you need a
pause for a minute
panel.
while you play it.
Or you can sing it.
Oh, I'll sing it. To finish this drink first.
This is a great time to go to an ad. I appreciate
Yeah.
both of you so much. Those names, yeah.
There's a lot
Beautiful.
of thought on it.
Fucking right.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Nice.
that. Richie Kwan, hit him with an ad, sir. We got to get paid.
Okay, what should we ask?
Now, here is a corn lover, and there's nothing more gratifying to a corn lover than to know that her mother has given her delicious Del Monte family-style corn. More people eat it than any other corn like it. It's a special strain developed to be sweet and tender. And when a corn lover is eating Del Monte corn, she probably doesn't need to hear me talking about how good it is, right? Well, then I'm just going to go into the living room and talk about corn to the sofa.
Nothing's too good for Daddy and me. Mom brings Del Monte home.
Okay, welcome back. Just a reminder, we've got this giveaway. All you got to do is tag a friend. Katie's going to put it in the comments. All you jabrons out there that are watching and not tagging. Jess won the Rosé last week. Odds are pretty good around here. I don't know what we're doing, but tag a friend, and you got a good chance of having yourself a couple tasty drinks. So tag a friend.
Yeah.
We've had a few people.
Okay,
comment.
respect. Okay,
Nice.
thank
Tagging
you.
Friends.
How many of them are related to either Emily or myself?
Not that I can see, not yet. I don't know where your crews are. There are 23 viewers, so we're definitely
Nice,
missing out
that's
on
amazing.
some tags.
If you're here and representing one of these crews, you should let us know. Let us
Family, friends.
know. Yeah.
Well, my husband has probably left now.
Fuck these guys.
I can't see who's watching.
Oh.
So yeah, tag
hope
us
he's
or
out there.
comment. Friend, family, stranger.
Yeah. Wearing camel
Louise's
suit.
cousin. You know. Let us
Why
know.
does that keep coming up?
Oh my!
Who's your
know.
cousin? What's the story there?
It's a story these guys made up.
It got a little sexual at a wedding.
Oh,
and
that's a-
we've
What does
read
that have to do with his cousin?
Well, 'cause she's probably watching right now. She
Callie is watching.
Oh, hi, Callie.
shout out to
Hi,
Callie.
Callie.
Yes, you. I
What
wish
up,
you were
Callie?
here.
Do you think she'll come to the show?
She's clapping. Pardon?
I
Do you
appreciate
think she'll come to
Callie.
the show eventually? Callie?
Nope.
What show?
No, she's got more sense than that. She's a smart lady. She's at home, probably wearing more comfortable clothes and relaxing on her couch. She's living her best life. I'm jealous.
Actually,
Oh,
why?
and Keith is watching.
Keith?
Nice.
Nice.
Is that all he
Husband
said?
watching is. Oh, did he just delete that? Just
Nice.
an FYI. Oh, husband's still watching. He fixed it.
Nice.
Nice. Hi, Keith.
Thank you. Sorry.
100% mine says
Chloe
mine
is
not.
also watching. She says, "Yay, Emily," with a heart face. Callie says, "I work behind the scenes," which is very true.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She's the foundation, the rafters, the trusses, the hardy board siding. She's
Nice.
everything. I miss you, Cal.
Where's the tissue? Cue the tissue. Nicole says, "Yay, both wonderful women and strong business owners. Hi all. Oh, and I'll tag my cousin." There we go. We've got another tag.
Nice. Take your
Yeah.
Yeah, there
cousin.
we
That's
go.
where we're going with this.
Kate
Take your
and
cousin.
Emily, your parents are also watching. So we've got a pretty good crowd
Nice.
tonight. This is
Cute.
awesome.
So fun.
Beautiful.
Go Kamloops.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
Getting cool.
Well, in that sense, I think
In that what sense?
like go Kamloops.
Okay.
Like,
Oh,
are there any other businesses in here or people that help you, like either with your business or that you look up to, or we're
Oh, man, yeah.
we're just talking about that. It's like we'd love to know.
There's lots of people. So one of my best friends is Ginger Teal, who works at Jardines. And she's been a huge help because it's an entirely different industry. She's been working in retail for years and years. And coming into this, I'd never worked at retail. Like I was a hostess at Milestones for 2 months once.
Right.
My actual background is corrections, so my handcuff and force options training didn't really prepare me for like
Right.
customer service and accounting. But she's been a big
But
help.
all the
and-
drunkards you've been able to handle
Oh yeah,
half decently.
I can man the door
Yeah.
and make sure that no one comes in. And then Jen from Modern Family has been really lovely. She was there from the beginning. Again, totally different market really because she's starting families and stuff. So
Right.
she had a lot
Nice.
of insights about downtown, which is nice.
Cool.
Just good people.
Respect.
Just good
How about
people
you, Emma?
downtown.
Yeah.
I hate to say it because you're right here, but you, Jesse, have been super helpful. was like really reluctant to say yes to this tonight. But I said to my husband, I'm like, Jesse's never led me astray. And I feel that so many cool things have come from meeting you, and I've met really cool people. And just like I sat down with Jesse and Louise about a month ago, and they gave me some really good tips for social media and my website. And just the fact that you guys took the time to go through my stuff and give me some honest feedback I was so appreciative. So that was so helpful.
That's
And I
nice
think
of you to
about
say.
it often.
Yeah.
Yeah, so nice. And like I met Natalie through you, and Natalie came to the store last night to do something for one of her clients, which I thought was really cool. And I would have never, I don't think, crossed paths with Natalie otherwise. So Natalie Sky's a photographer, for anyone who doesn't know. So yeah, that's amazing. And then I actually went to high school with a girl who Bree has met as well, Diane Bull, who lives in Revelstoke, and she has a store there called The Annex. And it's amazing, and she has been really helpful with either connecting me with suppliers or bouncing ideas off of her, and just giving me a lot of confidence in terms of just like actually putting myself out there and doing things, which is cool. And like, yeah, we have very similar businesses, but in different communities. So it's cool for us to, I always try and like send her like, oh, this is working really well for me. But she's so established that she's kind of like, oh, gee, thanks.
Oh, you discovered that, did you? Yeah, nice.
Yeah. But I'm like, oh, I feel like I should tell her what's working for me if like she's helped me so much, which is
Right.
great. And yeah, I know that she before like used to frequent Far and Wide, and even I was like, oh, I'm scared. Like I want to go and talk to like Bree and Callie and tell them what's going on, but you know, I didn't want to do it too soon. And she's like, oh, they're like so lovely. And I talked to Bree lots about business, so it was really cool just to like bounce some ideas off of her.
So
She's so wonderful. Yeah. So yeah, she came to town, and like before all this hit, we went for dinner, and yeah, she's let me prick her brain for 2 hours, and we can bounce ideas off of her, which is great.
that's what I'm actually a huge fan of, is the idea that I think we're to some extent trailblazing in Kamloops. You know,
What?
Yeah, it's a thing, as you said. Like trends in all industries kind of move a little slower. So I really think that, you know, when one brewery came in, craft brewery, and then another craft brewery, the idea was like, okay, we can work together to build like a stronger economy within our industry. And I think that can scale at length in terms of what we all have going on, especially us younglings out here.
Yeah, and the fact that you develop like a new kind of like need in Kamloops, which is what I see with your stores, and same thing with the breweries.
Offering stuff
It's just, like,
you're not
and
used to.
the more stores open up, well, with you like and with breweries, like they work together, which just makes it better from Kamloops, and it betters downtown. It betters like
Yeah.
More beer.
which is more beer.
More beer, more great options,
Yeah.
shopping local, you know?
I'm so glad you guys said that, because I'd like to take this time to announce my new podcast TV show that I'm starting.
Nice.
It's 8th Street Labs. we're going to be recording on Wednesdays.
Okay, nice. Yeah. Well, let me know if there's ever an opportunity.
Yeah, no, if you ever want to be a
for-
guest on my show,
Yeah,
that would be
please.
great.
Oh, that's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good segue.
Oh yeah, it's cool because like that's what it's like Kamloops is. It's a lot of community, and I feel like you both develop great
Lots
Yeah,
of
you-
sense of
space,
community.
but very small town feeling
Yes.
sometimes.
Yeah.
I love Mitch Forgy is so great about community, and like just from the first time that I went to Redbeard, and he's like, he gives you a little card, and it's like has a neighboring restaurant on it
That
of a
was
place
dope.
that you
That
should
was
go
a great
check out.
touch. Yeah,
like I
agreed.
love that so much, and I look up to him, and like the fact that he's like always collaborating with other people and trying to support other businesses, I think is so cool.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, definitely have an entrepreneurial crush on Mitch. He's so awesome. And
Ooh,
I've
I'm
told him-
telling Edna.
Oh no, I told Edna. They come in and I'm like, I just love you guys so much. But yeah, no, she knows. And I've told his mom and his brother. They all know.
Callie is involved in this, but she's staying at home, obviously, where she wants to be. But she also wanted to just say a huge shout out to Venture Kamloops and Nicole Bruce for lots of support and guidance for small businesses in Kamloops. I know that you guys went through the
Venture Kamloops
Venture
Retail
Kamloops.
Accelerator Program.
Yeah, which kind of helped you guys get in the door with business downtown. So
Is that the Nicole who commented?
Callie mentioned it, but Nicole commented before, and she tagged her cousin.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I
So-
appreciate
Didn't know which
Nicole's been here a couple times, and I appreciate her seeing the opportunity and actively trying to source out people that want to create those opportunities.
She's a great asset to Kamloops for sure. Her daughters were in the shop today too.
Nice.
Saw your mom.
Nice.
Nice.
That's how small Kamloops is.
So, but because I knew about Ruby because of her music.
Yeah.
There's another one.
Yeah.
It's another daughter.
Cool way to put me on the spot. For 3 drinks. Names are not my thing.
No, it's okay. Well, there's another daughter.
There's another
Ruby's
daughter.
younger sister.
Okay. Respect. Shout out to the whole Bruce family over there.
Ruby's starting at Amplified soon, so I know like too much about the family without knowing names. It's
Nice.
ridiculous.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, coffee shops downtown. Are you coffee drinkers? That's what I want to know.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay.
Tea at
100%.
home. Don't have a coffee maker. I have a vintage Pyrex percolator that I
The
used
fuck
to
is
make.
a Pyrex percolator over here?
First of all, it's vintage.
Have you never
so
been
it's
camping?
beautiful. It's all
That's-
glass, so you
No,
can watch the
apparently
coffee
not.
percolate. It's lovely, but we just break it out for like when people come over. So I have tea at home, but I get a coffee out every day. Sorry, Lance.
Nice. I had to stop doing that over
It's a habit I'm
COVID.
trying to break, but also I don't want to break because for a long time, like when my kids were little at home, like coffee shops were where I went to feel like an adult because the Starbucks up in Sahali was 24 hours when I had my first. And so sometimes I'd go there at 12:30 when he finally went to sleep, and I'd go there and my only adult interaction for that week was getting coffee. So getting coffee to me is
A
it's
thing.
sacred. It's a
That's
thing.
cool.
It's a treat. I like knowing everyone who works in the coffee shops, and they like my weird specialized orders because I'm very picky and I
I feel that.
need changes to everything.
Not a lot of people know my order for sure.
No, what is it?
A quad espresso.
Yeah.
That gets me going in the morning.
How many of
Oh,
those
yeah.
do you have per day?
Well, that's the start.
That's the
Usually,
morning.
yeah, that's
Oh
that's
my
what
God.
jumps
and then how
off
long do
my
you
heart.
coast?
Well, no, I usually get that with another coffee because I do like drinking coffee
Okay, so
in
you
the
just
morning.
have
Do you
the
like-
shot and
We
then
thought this started. Yeah.
coast.
And then it coast, and then you see where the day goes.
I'm concerned.
You know,
be honest, that's
after I
concerning
looked
for me.
back at what I was doing, I was like, yeah, but then you look at my schedule and you look how I've
Needed
pushed
it,
myself
dude.
sometimes. It makes sense. Caffeine, I don't think my body registers caffeine anymore, to be honest
Oh my
with you.
goodness.
Have you guys ever tried the Four Sigma mushroom coffee instead of regular coffee?
No,
to
my
switch
sister
out?
actually
Yes.
just.
Yeah, some people, if they have too much caffeine, they're switching out and trying like these mushroom blends. You can get them at pretty much anywhere. I'm probably going to see Facebook ads now that I'm talking about it because they're that good at their remarketing. I don't know how they do it. But I've never tried it. I don't know if it's because I tend to have too much caffeine where I'll just feel too anxious.
Right.
So maybe I'll have to bring some on the show.
Nice.
And it's
Let's
not
do a little
The
tester.
special
Yeah.
kind.
Yeah, I know. I was
just
about
Well, that's
to.
what it was.
I was about to
Just to make
default to
sure
Richie
everyone
over there.
knows
Like,
what
hey,
it is.
Richie, have you tried this before there, bud?
Yeah, you can buy it. I'm pretty sure at London Drugs or at the grocery store. But it's supposed to a natural replacement if you're overdoing it. I think.
Right.
Nice. And I don't want to throw him under the bus, but I know Jeremy might have a couple questions for these ladies. I heard him earlier. He's like, "Oh, I have so many questions about your
Oh,
business."
wow.
Oh,
So-
nice.
Like,
Throwing
yeah,
Jeremy under.
So
Okay,
I don't
Jeremy,
even
what
know
do
if
you
he's
got?
paying attention, but I was like,
Oh,
Jeremy,
no,
do you
he's
have
in
any-
here. He's in here. He's looking pretty fucking Rico Suave
Oh,
over
yeah.
here, too. Look how handsome this guy's looking. Holy. Nice.
Of course.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my boss just commented,
Oh.
Jen McKinney. She said, "You guys are so real. Kate, maybe talk about caffeine microdosing." Apparently, I'm a microdose queen at work, but it's not a work thing.
I see.
It just seems that I'm the only one that knows about what it means.
Okay. So you're not
Right?
you're not microdosing
Richie?
all the time?
We'll
Yeah.
go there another time.
This is approved by Richie.
Oh, wow. Celebrity
Microdosing.
endorsement.
Oh.
Yeah, thank
Oh.
goodness. Thank goodness I'm not the only one.
My husband, Keith again, hi.
Hi, Keith.
Just told me about this article he read that caffeine takes 45 minutes to kick in. So you're supposed to have like your coffee and then go to bed and have a 45-minute nap, and then you wake up and you are like
Okay.
Jazzed.
yes. So I said today, I'm like, I'm gonna have a little lay down before the show. He's like, do you want me to make you a coffee first? And I was like,
Nice.
no. Yeah, so try it before
Okay,
you
Keith,
have
anytime,
your
you know.
quad, and then have your 45-minute nap, and then you'll be good to go for the day.
Okay, that's good to know. Thanks, Keith. I'll try that one out.
Yeah, it's cool. Going back to your businesses, is there something when you were gonna start your business that you were like, oh, this is probably gonna be the easiest thing to do, and then you were like, oh, okay, this is not as easy as I thought it was gonna be. Like, oh, starting this show at first it was like, oh, we're just gonna sit down on a couch and chat. It's like the beginning it was really casual, no planning, just us talking about it, nothing and everything at the same time. But there's something like that you were like, okay, I didn't plan for this to be as much work as I thought, that you might like or not like. It can be both ways.
I think we were both well aware doing the research, and especially having a partner who thinks through things so well.
Nice.
We were able to talk things out, but I don't think anyone's really prepared to start a business. I don't think anyone who's never worked in a store before is ever really prepared to work in a store for the first time. And so, yeah, it became quite different. I've always worked pretty flexible jobs. And at the beginning, when it was just Callie and I, you're there 5 days a week. And the days that you're not there, you're still thinking about work. And so not being able to turn it off was probably the hardest, and probably is still the hardest, because it's not just my livelihood or my money on the line. It's Callie's livelihood and money, and it's our employees now, and it's our local vendors, a lot of whom it's their secondary income. So there's a lot riding on the shop.
Yeah.
And so having that responsibility on your shoulders is significant. I'd say it's worth it, but there's always a but.
It is not easy, for
It's-
sure.
No, nothing that's worth it is ever easy, though. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it, and then there would be no need for us, because I could have shopped somewhere else.
100%. I appreciate that insight.
yeah.
How about you, Emily? You got something for that? And the question I wasn't paying attention to?
I think it was like the unknown for me. I just like had no idea what to expect going into it. Like Callie had mentioned Nicole, and I had sat down and done like financial plans and like forecasting through Venture Kamloops, and I was like, I have no idea what I'm basing this off of. I have no idea what my traffic's going to look like. I can look at Kamloops census till I'm blue in the face. I could have asked you what your traffic was going to look like and what your dollars per transaction were, and that would not necessarily reflect in my business. So just trying to like figure out like, okay, what's the ordering going to look like? What's this cadence? You know, I thought that I would have, you know, hours in a day to like do my QuickBooks and my payroll, and like Bree and I were just talking about, she showed up, she's like, yeah, days are long. You've got like, when you're at the store and you're open and there's no downtime. And I thought there was going to be days where I would have like 3 or 4 customers.
Just
and like,
lounging.
I'm so grateful that that's not the case, and I don't have the time to do that. But I was like, oh, do I need to hire someone to do my books? Or like, what do I do? And I like look at my like quick tax, and I'm like, I have no idea what's happening here. I don't know where these transactions are coming from. So it's just like sitting down and like looking at all of the behind the scenes things, and then still maintaining like the front end. And
Right.
then I thought, I'll get my first year under my belt, and then I'll forecast everything based off that. But I feel like this is not the year to base my any predictions
No, there's
for
no
future.
no averages coming
so
out of this.
we'll just wait a bit. We'll have like another practice year.
Nice.
Yeah.
God, what a crazy time to start a business, I'll tell you. Crazy time to own a business, let alone start a business. I'm glad you're coming at the beginning of this and not, you know, halfway through or a couple years in. I think you're going through the shit right now, but, you know, grass is going to be greener because it has to be over this. Or else it doesn't fucking matter at that point. Just
Well, I'm like,
fucking
oh,
call
we
it.
won't base it off of this year. We'll just see what happens. Yeah. And like, there were a lot of silver linings to it for sure. And I think like, I'm also super grateful. Like, I didn't have like staff that I had to lay off or worry about, like Bree was just talking about, and I didn't have as much inventory as another established business. So like, there was businesses that were established and had to went to online, and that may have been, I don't know, necessarily easier to navigate, but they already had their name out there in a customer base. But like, I also didn't have as much overhead at that point. And like at that point, I kind of could have like thrown in the towel and just had a lease. Like a really cool space downtown to hang out and some stock. Christmas presents for life.
Yeah, no doubt. This is a perfect segue into our advertisement for an upcoming season. When we come back, we're going to dig into what has come about after this COVID situation or throughout this COVID situation, and where you can find all the goods if you're not located in Kamloops, British Columbia. Stay tuned.
Wow, these are really good.
Lord have mercy. Welcome back. Last chance to get in the draw. Jeremy's going to start hand tearing names over here. So if you're joining in late, and you would like to win a bottle of Monty Creek, tag a friend that might be interested in incredible retail, or if they're in Kamloops, are down with the shop local vibe and want to see what these incredible human beings are offering, then please tag a friend and you'll be in the draw. Now, before we cut to that incredible break, what are you saying over here, Jeremy? Jeremy, you're stressing me out, Jeremy. Always. Cutting back from the COVID situation, what came about were websites, were the online shopping, which wasn't necessarily built into, the business plan, the venture Kamloops, what are we going to do here? But I think good things to some extent have come of it. Maybe you guys can tell us what you got going on.
Yeah. So having an online store in our original business plan was for September of 2019, which obviously didn't come about because other things happened, and we grossly underestimated how much time running the store would be. But once COVID hit, we had the online store up and running within 3 days, and it went pretty well. We're really grateful for the support in Kamloops, like the shift, I think, in people's mindsets and their shopping habits and how they feel about their downtown has changed, and I hope it's for the foreseeable future, because if people care about the places that they shop at, or they care about the people who they're neighbors with or their kids play with, like, they need to support their businesses. So it was really nice to see that support come out. We did end up having to rebuild a website after we'd already built a website because of inventory management, which was an interesting experience. And again, shout out to Callie, who did so much of the back end there.
Callie, way to be.
Incredible.
I think this is coming back around multiple
probably
times.
the best case situation for her, because we're just going to shower her with accolades.
Callie, you are the greatest.
She doesn't have to
thing
control her
happen
facial
here.
expressions. It's wonderful. I do love that girl. So yeah, it's a huge learning curve. It's dealing with things and payment processors and
Whole new world.
a whole new world. And it's interesting, and I'm glad we're through what appears to be the worst of it.
No doubt.
That's not wood.
No, that's
The
a
top
good
is
old
wood.
fashioned
It's a
IKEA
doppelganger.
over here.
Ooh. I'm not saying you guys should invest in a wooden coffee table, but
Listen, too many of these things get broken because we have pretty wild guests on, all right? And you guys are
well.
at least appreciating what's in
feel
front
like-
of you. So hold on, don't test it too much.
yeah, no. So the website's been a great experience that I don't wish to go through again.
Right.
Yeah.
Fair.
No.
Fair.
Yeah. We launched our business on a website, which was super fun. And it was nice. Like, I was super grateful. Like you, like, it wasn't in our business plan. I knew that I wanted to have all of our products available for people to look at online and then buy online, pick up in store. But I never thought that we would ship. And then I didn't plan on having the buy online, pick up in store option until October 2019 or 2020. So yeah, I basically threw the whole business plan out the window.
What they're for.
Yeah, just was like, what is
Fuck 'em.
this?
I mean, if anything I learned in school, it's fuck a business plan.
Yeah.
The market will decide, and
Exactly.
apparently viruses will decide as
Yeah.
well. So
That being said, I do think every business should have one because it forces you to have conversations that you
Yes.
cannot
absolutely,
avoid.
absolutely.
Venture Camlips has a
Nice,
great
nice
program
work.
for that. Shout out
Nice
to Nicole;
work.
she can help you if you're
Nice
wanting
work.
to start a business.
Well,
but
you need a
definitely
base.
do one, even if you,
You need
don't
a
follow
base.
it. You need to have
Yeah.
the base.
I did like a SWOT analysis, and even in my SWOT analysis, I had COVID in there, but not for
What
us.
is this?
It was just bizarre, like, because when I did one for Venture Camlips as well as one for Community Futures. And yeah, when I did my SWOT analysis for Community Futures, I had COVID in there, and it was more about like traveling and how things would change, or maybe if I was getting products from like the States, but I
Right.
the impact of it was not in there by any means.
Right.
And like I also did like a SWOT analysis of all like my competitors downtown as well, and like picked out like your guys' strengths and like opportunities, and like yeah, like COVID was in there.
That's
And-
fucking strange.
Yeah,
that's wild.
but not to the point
Not
where
to the
I
extent that it went.
no,
Yeah.
not at all. So, but yeah, launching the business online was like, it was the only thing that kept us going. And it was like the ability for us to like have a little taste of being like, okay, what does Camlips want?
Right.
And like, what are people liking? What can I reorder? And I started super, super little because I had no idea what to expect at all. And to be quite honest with you, I just was launching it online for the sole purpose of like trying to move my product so I wasn't stuck with it a month
Right.
later. So I was like, let's just try and get rid of it. And then I was like, oh,
Let's get
look.
rid of this.
Yeah, I was like,
Here.
let's
I
just
don't like it anymore.
And then I'm like,
no, I was
okay,
like,
let's go.
there's
All
no
right.
way that like I can launch a business right now. There's just like, it was so silly. I was
Right.
applying for jobs, and then I'm like, oh, okay, great. Like, mom and dad are ordering. My best friend's ordering. Cool, thanks, guys. And then I was like, wait, I don't know this name. Who's this? Where did this person come from? And then people were like, hey, can you ship? So I was like, we should add shipping. So then I'm like ordering boxes and like setting up a Canada Post account, and it's been good. Like we went like shipped out 3 packages today to 3 different places in
Dope.
BC, and I only knew 2 of them.
But shout out to all the moms and dads and family out there that, you know,
support.
Number one fans.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
mom's still paying full price ordering stuff online.
I respect mom.
Yeah,
Way to
they,
be.
they understand the cost breakdown, right?
Yeah.
Cost plus. Jen asked, what did you guys learn from COVID about business? Like how has it changed your business, and what did you learn from it?
I think one of the most important things we learned is that we can't just be a store. We have to be a community. We have to offer something that the bigger places, the chains, can't offer. It's the feeling in the store and the customer service and the product mix that we offer and the support that we give out as well in terms of what our values are and what we stand for. And Callie and I are pretty outspoken in our personal political views, and we've always been LGBTQ plus friendly. We're very big on body positivity and having positive role models. We're very big on supporting women-led businesses. One of our eventual goals is to offer bursaries to different artisans and vendors and makers so that we can support more people going forward. And in order to do the things that we want to do, in order to provide the donations that we did for Black Lives Matter, like we need to have the support of the community, because it's the community that gives us the ability to do that.
100%.
So it's recognizing what our customers and our friends now bring to the table, and making sure that they know that we appreciate them.
Respect.
Love that.
Dig that.
Put that on a bumper sticker,
Hey,
guys.
Julie. Yeah, that's
Pretty long-winded, but
I appreciate all the words that just came out of your mouth there. That's
Yeah, that
something
was-
that speaks
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
true
Oh,
to
nice.
Yeah.
how we operate on a daily basis. So it's
Yeah.
That's good. We're going to talk about that on my new show.
Okay.
yeah,
So
coming out.
Speaking of, small business entrepreneurship, Stacy's wondering when there's going to be an entrepreneur hangout as well.
Well,
Just FYI.
yeah, you kind of stole my thunder. We're planning on next week releasing something like that because, as you all can tell throughout here, we do want to shine light on local entrepreneurs, like small businesses kind of keep a community alive in some shape or form. We employ, to you guys' points, the nieces, the nephews, the uncles, everyone kind of revolves around the community base of small businesses. So there is actually a plan for all you entrepreneurs out there. We had to table it thanks to COVID, and we didn't want to go just digital because, frankly, I have had enough of the Zoom meetings in my life. I don't know how about you guys, but
Bree called me one night on Hangouts during
House
all
party.
of it.
House party.
House
House
yeah.
party,
I don't
yeah.
even know what it's
You can
called.
play games.
I'm like in bed in my pajamas. I'm like, oh, hello. Like, I don't even know what's happening right now. But yeah, I
Magical.
think we're just desperate for connection at that point.
100%. So yes, all you entrepreneurs out there, there is actually we have like
plan
a
for it.
real structured, cool way of going about it in a safe way, of course, because we're all feeling the fucking stranglehold of this stupid ass virus over here. So shout out to Stacy. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Sorry, I'm reading more comments.
Okay, all right.
You let
Jen
Stacy know I'm
Jen
free
just
this
said
weekend.
that she loves you ladies and your positive power. Go girl power.
Woo.
Go girl power.
I don't know why
Respect.
I did that. Take that back.
Respect.
What?
No, I don't know if you're on camera there, so it's all good.
It's probably me, and I only put up one finger. So.
Like, we're number one. Go women. No offense, guys.
None
taken.
I also
We
opened a
appreciate
poll
you.
for everyone and asked if they were sick of Zoom meetings. So far, it's 100% yes.
Yeah. Feel that. So we have no intention of starting a digital Zoom meeting platform. It's going to be real human beings. We just we need to roll it out in the appropriate timing. Richie Kwan, I know he's looking super energetic. Richie Kwan, a question. You have a question for these lovely ladies.
Yes, I do. Has there been any uplifting moments during your business? It could be, somebody in particular that is like a person who buys from you guys, or just a moment in your business that you really enjoyed.
I think like anytime someone's willing to even like walk through the door or like a post or send me a message, I'm just so grateful. It's like there's like that little video that goes around of like these two women who work in a shop, someone buys something and then they reach down and they high five each other and do a little dance. I'm like, yes, I feel that like anytime someone even wants to pop in and be like, hey, good luck, like I'm rooting for you, it's just so heartwarming. And I feel like Kamloops is such an amazing community. So I feel like, we're getting those like regular people who are coming in who, like you said, they just start to become your friends. And like, when all this hit, I remember you saying like, we're just wondering how our regulars are doing. Like we just really miss them. And it's just so nice to have that. But like, just like the fact that people are even thinking about me or the store is like, I'm blown away. And like, there'd be days where I'd be at home and there'd be a sale and I would just like start to cry. And I was like, I'm so glad we didn't open right now, because if someone came in and bought something, I'd be bawling, because like just so grateful, like just seeing that, or like people following you on Instagram or reaching out and being like, hey, I brought my mom in, she's never been to the store. It's like, what? Like, you don't just feel bad for me right now? So I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. It's so nice. So anything really. I just want the attention, apparently.
Well, no, I do appreciate it. I think it speaks volumes as to like, you don't need to buy something necessarily to support a local company. Like it's hard in general to run a business, but it's even harder right now. And those small little touches, the shares, the likes, like just the mentions to other people. Like I saw a cool little spot. That is the world's. It means the world's right now. It always means the world's, but it's like under a magnifying glass right now. And in terms of, it's just tough in general to run a business. So Shout out to all you out
Yeah.
there participating, liking, sharing, commenting. Everything matters right now, and we, I mean, I really want Kamloops to come back stronger than ever, and I think we have the infrastructure in a lot of ways in terms of the human beings behind the stories, but that shit matters, and I appreciate the tear in your eye that was created in that moment, because it's that moment. Respect.
Yeah.
How about you, Bray?
Oh, I'm just trying to think of heartwarming moments, but keep getting stuck on the gentleman who moved into our front door that first Christmas. No, we've had some incredible moments over the past couple of years. Everyone from they started coming in when we were open, and we followed them to the first apartment when they moved out of their parents' house and buying plants, and then they met someone and moving into a house together, and we've got people who come back and visit us even though they've moved away, and we've got people who, again, like what you were saying, you don't have to buy things. We've never wanted people to come in and feel like they're obligated to purchase anything. We share the things that we love, and I've put out before, like, we've got a kettle in the back if you want to come in and have a cup of tea with me, like, and we've had people come in and have a cup of tea with me, and they just needed someone to talk to, and Kamloops is getting to the point where it's big enough where people can still feel lonely. Or when they first moved to Kamloops, there's a lot of people who still hang out with their high school friends. Shout out to Katie's husband, who I went to high school with. Like, it's big, but it's small town, so breaking into it sometimes can be tough. But becoming a place where people say that they feel safe it's been nice. And they're not put off by my singing.
Great question,
Great
Richie.
question.
That's
Yeah.
a great bounce back question. I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, it's great hearing your guys' story and the happiness that you guys have come through by just doing this business. It's amazing, like the small things that you can get through just doing what you love.
No doubt. Katie, what are your 2 cents over there?
No, I agree. I thought that was a great question. I'm curious what the next little bit looks like now that things have opened back up. What are your plans for going into the fall? Are you going to start doing more events at Far and Wide, or somehow try to, with the community, do more? Or now that you're actually open, have people in the store. What are your big plans?
Honestly, I'm like taking things like week by week. So right now we are still looking to expand a few product lines. We're like we've got like our good base, but I'd like to add a few more, and we are in talks with a couple other suppliers, and one's launching a fall and winter line that we're really excited about. And then like building furniture for the store, like shelving, like really, like it's so like base level right now, because like we basically threw everything together really quickly because I put everything on pause. So like just filling the space and ensuring that like the team, I've got 4 staff, feels really good about everything, and that they're loving the products, and that we're just bringing in some other cool things, and then just keep on going, and then hopefully continue with our hours through the fall. We've like introduced Sundays as well. And yeah, just like bringing people downtown on Sundays, I think is really cool, and getting the word out there of like what's open, especially now that Hello Toast is back open, and like promoting like other businesses downtown, I think is important.
Callie and I are having brunch there tomorrow.
Nice.
Pretty bummed. Last time we had brunch there, my husband had dropped us off, and I had to get him to come in off the street to like finish my plate, because I was like, I can't waste this much food. Someone needs to help me. So great value for the money.
Yeah, portions are on point.
I'm
appreciate
just down
that.
the street if you ever need someone to do that again.
Perfect. I think for Far and Wide, I can't wait until we can have a few more people get together. We've got, I think, around 120 people in our book club, and we haven't continued it online as much because it's the personal connection and the getting together that makes the most sense for us. So get that back up and started. We've got...
And this is different than the Plant Club.
Plant Club is different.
Okay.
And different than the podcast.
Different than my upcoming
Okay.
podcast.
Yeah.
You'll want to tune in
Yeah.
on Twitch.
Sure. Yeah.
Twitch.
Well, I mean, you tell me. I'm tuning
Apple
in.
Podcast.
I introduced her to Twitch. Sorry.
Oh,
we talked
nice,
about Twitch
nice,
tonight. I'm gonna
nice.
investigate it when I get home.
Nice.
Just
No, we're
ask Tyson.
my 14-year-old son. He's great. He teaches me about all sorts of things. Now when he answers the phone, he says, "What's poppin'?" And I say, "Champagne bottles." And he says, "You're not cool." So it's a fun story from my personal life. No, Far and Wide's just gonna keep going. We're gearing up for plants. Today we released a bunch of harder to find plants, which we always have
Saw
people
that.
asking us for like crazy
So
varieties.
where do you find these plants? Like, come on now.
Right now, nowhere. They're impossible to find. People
Oh.
are obsessed with plants, so we've had a hard time getting some things in. We've got a bunch of growers down on the coast, though, so we get them delivered every week. We're always on the lookout for the varieties that people want, the variegated heart vines, the string of pearls, the string of bananas, the string of anything. We're on the lookout for it. We're trying our best to get it for people. But we release the harder to find plants on the website and then have them for in-store pickup, and it's just keeping on top of that. We've got
Cool.
to balance it.
Well, if you haven't been to either of these places, you need to check them out. Downtown Kamloops, the 4th Avenue block. It's pretty cool. Crooked Crown, Far and Wide.
Fresh slice.
Fresh, just the Fresh Slice splits it. So if you need, you're exhausted, you need a bite, you can check out Fresh Slice in between.
Cauliflower crust.
Yes.
Come downtown, check them out. We really appreciate both of you being on
Thank you
tonight's
for
show.
being in the show.
Thank
Time.
you so much.
Where can people find you before we sign off? Katie will put it in the comments, but where can people find you?
Either 404 Victoria Street or crookedcrown.ca, and then our Instagram is crookedcrown.kamloops.
Cool.
farandwidekamloops.com at bar_and_wide_BC on Instagram.
Katie will put that in the comments.
That'll be in the comments. We really like underscores around our establishment.
Dig that.
At 167 4th Avenue, which we always say is across from the Central, and 85% of people know where that is. So I'm proud of them.
Nice.
Respect. Well, thank you both again
Yeah.
for being on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Louise, any final thoughts?
No. it's
Have
been
we
great.
converted you from mall life?
Yes,
You
Mexican
have,
malls?
definitely.
Mexican malls over here.
And I do need to go into stores. I was telling Jesse, my first time buying online was a year and a half ago.
Oh, wow.
Buying so I do need to go into store. Same thing. It was just my buying, my shopping habits were really archaic. I want to say. But yeah, well, thank you for being in the show.
Thank
It's a
you
good time
both.
to-
Jeremy, you got some names over here, so we can do a giveaway. Thank you. Thank you for hand tearing all these. We hand tear. We appreciate scissors, but
We have scissors, but yeah, Jeremy likes to hunter stuff.
Maybe Oh, nice. Yeah, there you go. Nice. Very stretchy hats. I appreciate them for my big ass noggin over here. Fits
What hole
well.
are you on there?
Oh, I go deep over here. Yeah. All right, this
I
is
hope
the
it's
giveaway.
your mom.
Who is it?
SK Colby, and then in brackets I. Is that what you wrote?
SK,
Instagram. Okay.
yeah.
SK Colby.
SK
From
Colby.
Instagram.
You won.
Bottle
You
of
won it.
wine.
The bottle. I'm sad to see you go, a little trapper, but you found a good home. Tune in next week. Next week, we actually got a great episode.
Posted this week.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is all we do is great episodes. I mean, look at
Except
you
for
know?
episode 3. We don't talk about episode 3.
Why you gotta do this to me? We always have great episodes, but I'm just telling your social networks
But next
that we
week
have
is
another one.
actually going
Yeah.
to be
It's
great.
much better. New and improved. Coming back at you.
With a
Finally
whole
being
lot
bullied,
less
man.
sass.
I'm
It kind of sounds like they're trying to take over.
I'm being missed.
yeah,
Like he's
come
finally
on.
getting bullied, and it's not
This
just me.
is
Jesse, we
fucking.
got
I've had
this.
enough.
There we go.
Had
So
enough.
much.
No, but we do have at least the confirmed guest so far is Richard from Iron Road he has supplied my COVID times with great beer.
Yeah.
So I think you can both agree that is a
Doing
good
a lot
guest
of
to
juice
have
train.
on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Tacos. Just talking about his
Just doing it.
tacos.
Can he please bring tacos?
I'll have to run that by him. We'll see what he can
Mexican
do.
street corn nachos.
Oh, yeah.
Have you had
With
those?
the mango
Sorry, Rich.
hot sauce.
Sorry,
the
Richard,
mango
this wasn't on
habanero
your.
hot sauce.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just did that on Tuesday.
Okay, see, you guys can appreciate
We
the
could do-
guest I'm having
yeah.
on here. I have
We have
good guests.
way better than us.
Great guests. Richard, we got some breweries. We have some other surprises. Stay tuned. Be sure to follow Ninth Lab on Facebook and Instagram because we have incredible human beings like these lovely ladies on our shows, and they're definitely going to be back. So if you want to see them again, well, I can't speak for you guys, but I would love to have them back.
Exactly.
So please follow, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in.
See you later.
Thank you.